Well, hello, my friends. Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris. It's nice to meet you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment and let me know that you're new so I can give you a shout out in my next video. So lately, I have been obsessed with storytime videos. I cannot get enough of them. Like, I literally watched this one girl's, all she does is like story times and sit down talk videos, and I literally watched every single one of her videos in one day. Like, there's only 6, but they were long videos. They were like 30 minutes each. This story that I have to tell you guys is just, I can't believe it actually. Like, to this day, I still cannot believe that this happened to me. And that I witnessed this. And the coincidences in all of this is just too wild to believe. It's crazy. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Hey guys, what's up? For those of you who are new, I'm Chris. It's nice to meet ya. Hi. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll wait. Hit it. What are you waiting for? Alright, cool. So, now that you're subscribed, thanks for subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know that you're new so I can give you a shout out in my next video. Also, all of my social medias are linked in the description box below, as well as they're listed on my end card. So they're not linked, but you can find my handles and go on to those platforms and find me there. So today's video is a story time. This happened when I was living in West Jordan, Utah. It's a nice little town. I was living with a friend of mine, and at that point, I was in hair school. I was taking the bus or walking or basically just using public transportation until I graduated and figured out something as far as a car goes. So one night, I don't remember if it was me. No, it wasn't me. I wanted to go to Barnes & Noble and get a book or something. I don't remember what it was. But my roommate had a car, and I was like, hey, can you take me to Barnes & Noble? And she's like, Chris, I can't. I just took a sleeping pill. I was like, oh, okay. But she goes, but if you want, you can drive my car and I'll just go with you. And I was like, oh, okay, that works. Drive over to Barnes & Noble. I wish I remembered what I wanted. Barnes & Noble's never a quick trip. We wander around, we look at books, we talk to each other about the books we read. My roommate's like taking a sleeping pill. I think she took an Ambien, and she's getting loopier and loopier by the minute. So I finally am like, we need to go. So I go check out. We get in her car and we start driving home. You know, we're talking on the way home. I'm like, we need to get her home too, because she's like, she needs to go to bed. Like, I'm like, I might have to like help her up the stairs. I don't know what's going on. Like, it was bad. So I felt really bad for having her come with me. She wanted to though. Driving home from Barnes & Noble, and I'm trying to keep her awake so that way I can help her excuse me, get up the stairs. We're pulling into our neighborhood where our house was at the time, and we got to, it was almost like it was a 3-way stop. So there was a road here, and then a road here, and then there was a stop sign here, here, and here. So we're waiting for this car in front of us to go, and their hazards are on, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, they should have just gone. Is their tire flat? Like, do they need help? I can't really help with a flat tire. I need to get my roommate home and get her to bed. But then I'm like, maybe I can come after I get her in bed? I'm just like, all of these things are going through my mind. Like, what is going on? And finally my roommate goes, pull up next to them and I'll ask them if they need help. So I make sure that there's no cars coming the other way because they're in the lane. And I pull up next to them, and then my roommate rolls her window down and goes, hey, are you guys okay? And this middle-aged man, I will never forget, he looks at us and he looks terrified. And he goes, she's trying to kill me. She's trying to kill me. And I'm like, what? And I look in the seat at the passenger, and it's a African-American woman, and she goes, oh, he's just really, really drunk right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And at this point, I just don't know what to do. I'm like, I can't have a drunk man driving around in my neighborhood. But I've got my roommate who needs to go home and get into bed because she's about to, like, fall over and, like, just be out. So the whole thing, I was just like, I don't feel okay about any of this. So I drive home and I get my roommate into bed, and she goes, I'm not gonna go to bed yet, I'm not gonna go to bed yet. And I was like, why? She goes, I'm calling the police. I'm like, because drunk driver. Okay, yes, that makes sense. So my roommate calls the police and tells them what happens, and an officer comes to our house, and we each give a statement of what we saw, and we go to bed, and we don't really think about it anymore. Like, we did what we could, and hopefully that guy isn't driving, and if he was driving still, why wasn't the sober person driving? Like, there was just so many questions that I had, and it just didn't seem right. But we went to bed. Like, she went to her room, I went to my room, we were done for the night. So a couple days later, I'm coming home from school. It's like 6 o'clock at night at this point. I get home, and my roommate is there, and she goes, Chris, you're not gonna believe what I'm about to tell you. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And she says, remember the other day when we were driving home from Barnes & Noble? And I go, yeah. Well, the cop who came over and took our statements just called me, and my roommate tells me that the man in the car was being robbed at knife point, and he was being robbed by a transgender African-American woman. And I'm just like, really? And she goes, yeah. And it took me a long time to, like, be like, we saw that? Like, I was like, what? It was just, nothing like that happens to me, you know? The next day, I go to school, and my friends and we're hanging out in between clients or at lunch or something. I don't remember. But it was a part of the day where there was some downtime, and we were able to chit-chat. So I'm talking to my friends about what's going on, telling these girls about what happened, and one of my hair school instructors is very actively listening, which is fine. Like, I was friends with all the hair school instructors, mostly. And she goes, Chris, there was an African-American transgender woman in our makeup class last week. And I'm like, how many African-American transgender women are in the state of Utah? I mean, if it was another state, I'd be like, oh, it's probably not the same person. But Utah, like, we're pretty conservative here. It turns out that it was the same person that went to my hair school the week before for makeup class. Went to my hair school and took the makeup class. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? So, yeah. I mean, things like that don't happen. I had to share that story. It's just one of those, what? Stories. Like, what? I don't know. But anyways, thank you for watching my story time. Thank you for subscribing. And like I said before, all of my social media links will be listed in the description box as well as at the end card of this video. So you can use my handle and find me on them. I love you guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.